People say you can't miss what you never had, but they're wrong. I missed my mom every single day. Even though I never met her, she died giving birth to me, her final breath traded for my first cry. And my dad, he disappeared before I was old enough to form memories. I used to imagine he was a superhero, called away on a mission so important that even his own daughter had to be left behind. But time has a way of revealing what imagination tries to hide. I wasn't the daughter of a superhero. I was just a girl abandoned by a man who never looked back. My name is Melissa, I'm 25 years old now, and for most of my life, I carried an emptiness inside me the size of the man who should have held my hand through it all. Growing up without parents meant being passed around first to my aunt, then my grandmother, then foster care when neither could handle me. They said I was too emotional, too needy, too wild, but what did they expect? I was a girl searching for a ghost. By the time I hit puberty, I developed a strange fascination with older men, not in a rebellious, taboo-seeking way, but in a desperate, aching kind of way. They made me feel safe, grounded, like maybe one of them could fill the father-shaped void in my life. Of course, no one ever did. I spent my 20s collecting DNA like most girls collected memories. Every time I tracked down one of my mother's former boyfriends, I'd find some excuse to get close. Grab a hair from their brush or a discarded cigarette. I'd send it off for testing, waiting like a child on Christmas morning, hoping this one would be the match. Each time, the result came back negative. The hole inside me widened. But life isn't just about searching. Sometimes, it hands you something unexpected. His name was Mike. We met at a coffee shop when I was 22. He was in his late 40s, with salt and pepper hair, deep laugh lines, and eyes that seemed to see right through me. He asked if he could join me, and I said yes. We talked for hours about books, music, and the quiet pain we both carried. He told me he'd lost his wife young and never had children. I told him I never had parents. Falling in love with him was like slipping into warm water. It didn't feel sudden. It felt like coming home. Everyone judged us. They saw a young girl clinging to an older man and assumed the worst. But they didn't know that Mike made me feel like I was finally enough. With him, I wasn't the broken girl chasing ghosts, I was just Melissa. We moved in together after a year, got married not long after. We had 3 beautiful kids, 2 boys and a girl. He was a wonderful father. Everything I had dreamed a dad could be, he was to them. And yet, I never stopped looking. I couldn't help it. Somewhere deep inside, I still needed to know who my father was. Maybe it was selfish, maybe it was stupid, but I kept chasing shadows, kept sending DNA samples to every lab that would take them, hoping that this time. One day, I got an email from a clinic I had long forgotten about. They had recently launched a new matching system for adoptees and lost relatives. Apparently, someone had submitted their DNA searching for a daughter. And mine matched. I stared at the screen for hours, my heart pounding like it wanted to burst through my ribs. I was shaking. After all this time, after hundreds of false starts, this was it. My dad, he was alive. He was looking for me. The clinic gave me a name. Michael Harrington. I froze. No, that couldn't be. Michael Harrington was Mike, my Mike. I reread it a dozen times. The clinic's logo blurred in front of me as my brain tried to deny the reality sitting on the screen. I called them, frantic, hoping for a clerical error. Maybe it was a different Michael Harrington. It had to be. But the woman on the line confirmed it gently. The address matched. The birthday matched. The DNA was 99. 99, no room for doubt. I hung up without saying goodbye and stood in the middle of my kitchen, trembling. I looked around at the photographs on the walls. Our wedding day, Mike playing with the kids in the backyard, the 5 of us at Disneyland. My husband is my father. My stomach turned, my knees gave out, and then everything went black. When I woke up, I was lying on the living room floor, my kids' faces hovering above me with wide eyes. Mike was there too, holding my hand, his voice thick with concern. Melissa, baby, are you okay? What happened? I stared at him like he was a stranger, because he was. That face I had loved, trusted, kissed, how could it belong to the man who abandoned me as a child? I couldn't speak. I could barely breathe. I pushed his hand away and staggered to my feet. I ran into the bathroom and vomited. The days that followed were a blur. I avoided him, locked myself in our bedroom, replayed every moment of our relationship like a horror movie reel. I was trapped in a nightmare. How could this be real? When I finally confronted him, his face crumbled. I didn't know. He said, I swear to God, Melissa, I didn't know. He told me about a girl he had loved when he was young, my mother. They were just teenagers. She got pregnant, but they'd broken up before she ever told him. He left town, joined the military, lived a different life. Years later, he tried to find her only to learn she had died in childbirth. He never knew the baby survived. That's why I submitted my DNA, he said, his voice shaking. I thought, maybe my daughter was out there. My head was spinning. I wanted to scream. I wanted to tear the universe apart and rewind time. But I didn't know it was you, he whispered. Not until now, and if I had known, Melissa, I would have never. I know, I said quietly, tears slipping down my cheeks. I know you didn't know, but I didn't either. I looked at the man I had loved, the father of my children, and now my father. The word made my skin crawl. What were we supposed to do now? I thought of our children, the beautiful little lives we had created. Were they tainted? Were they mistakes? No, they were innocent. They were love, wrapped in skin and bones. But us, I didn't know what we were anymore. We agreed to get therapy, to talk to experts, to figure out what to do for the kids, for ourselves, for the mess that fate had handed us. Some days, I look at Mike and still see the man I loved. Other days, I see the shadow I spent my life chasing. I don't know how to reconcile both, but I know this. I wasn't the daughter of a ghost. I was the daughter of a man who had also lost his way, and somehow, in the most twisted, tragic way imaginable, we found each other, even if it broke us.